I'm just triple checking. I'm not muted. Okay, thank God. Game number 1 here for the grand finals of the group coming up as we hop into the last series today for the TING Open wildcard group number 2. Now, quick reminder, at this point, this is the last, I guess, group for a little bit of time. We will be on a small hiatus as I Am Katowice plays out over the next week, but we come back on March 7th with the second European group, which is Mana, Nurcio, Marine Lord, and Lily Canine. So that'll be a very interesting group to be had, and then we'll find out shortly after the next stage of groups and all that good stuff. But we just want to get through this tournament. Of course, this is all made possible thanks to TING. Make sure you go to the TING website, guys, by bttv.ting.com. That way they know you came from the stream. But spawning here on the bottom left side of Ruins of Ceres, we've got the blue Zerg player, True Esports, Elazer.
In the top left as the red Zerg, he is Snute.
Now, again, it's going to be a little bit scary for Snute in the series. At the same time, a little bit scary for Elazer in the series. Elazer doesn't know about the curse, but this isn't some bullshit movie thing where just because you don't believe in it, it's not real and friendship is magic. The curse is a very real thing, and Elazer could be out of this group. However,
friendship is magic.
However, I will say that Snute, despite losing that first series today, didn't even look too bad going down. Like, it wasn't like he got stomped by Elazer. So an actual comeback, all jokes aside about a curse, is actually totally viable in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, what's funny, though, is that when we see, like, an ace match, first match, and then in the decider, the person who lost, like, I can't remember who exactly it was, but I remember it happened twice. They just ended up 3-0ing the guy. Like, I think one was a cure, got 3-0'd, despite, like, a very close series with the guy that he faced, and then someone else that had happened to as well. I don't think that's going to happen here, but Snute, I mean, there's two things at hand here. One, the curse, absolutely true. And then two, the fact that Snute has looked better and better and better for every series that we've cast, and especially versus Elazer. So if he 3-1s or 3-0s, I'd be like, yeah, I totally called it. Whatever. No biggie.
No, I actually... Again, it's worth noting that we cast these guys so regularly. We've cast literally every single day this month. And half those casts have had either Snute or Elazer in them. So, Snute's progress being more important than this one really has changed a lot. Like, over the course of February, he has really shifted his playstyle. And, while not doing, like, special tacticsy moves, he's cleaned up a lot of his mistakes, and he's been looking a lot better. And, I'll just state, from everything we saw in the first best of 5 between these two today, Snute's corrosive bile usage has actually really been on point.
And I'm making to see that, so they are going to Roach versus Roach. Now, Elazer is getting Roaches long before Snute is, who is going for a third base. But Snute is getting Roaches at all, which is important, because if he had just depended on Lings and gotten totally blindsided by this, then he would have been in a lot of trouble. But he could see this coming somehow. Actually, I'm not sure how, as his Overlord is off to the right, unfortunately for him. And he can make his own Roaches. He's already making a couple. Safety ones. No supply blocks right now, though. But there are the Roaches going out for a Elazer.
That Ling handling of Snute. I'm sorry. I know I said it earlier, guys, and I geeked out about his Ling control. Just gonna happen to happen again. No big deal.
Well, like I said, the first Overlord of Snute was off to the right for whatever reason, so he actually didn't get to see the Roach counts until this Overlord, but he had already been prepping some Roaches. But he supply blocked again.
Oh.
If this kills him, I swear to God.
There's actually a point of contention on the front lines, too, with the Roach War, and if Snute chooses to not engage, the Elazer can, well, basically cut Snute down if he kills the Roach Warren. But gonna go for the mineral line instead. He's gonna pull some drones into it. One of these Roaches wasting some shots on the Roach Warren, so it's gonna go for Snute.
Snute doesn't really have the drones to pull. He might
or
just
the
straight
Roaches to fight with.
Um,
that supply block was pretty nasty.
Yeah, 2 supply blocks, one after the other. It's quite bad, but looks like he's going to hold on this because the Elazer's not really reinforcing. And even if he was, it's a big map. As
you pointed out, that the drone count is still rather stark, 24 to 40, and Elazer's taking a third. Now, all things considered, you might argue, well, Snoot's going for a big all-in counterattack, so it doesn't matter that his drone count's low, but he clearly wants to get those drones back up. He's just droning like crazy behind this, so this is not an ideal situation for him. Elazer's going to have some units out to defend. Might not be enough. Lings might be better suited to wait till the Roaches are there.
This is just, it's Yeah, Snoot's all he could really do with that attack is scare Elazer from getting too many more drones. You know, because Elazer was droning the entire time he was attacking. Now Snoot's doing that, and he has caught up a little bit, and he has a bit faster of the. Oh, if he gets a third base, that'd be really nice. I was gonna say he's a bit faster of the good saturation, but now he'll have much faster good saturation. Yeah, definitely kill this. Yeah.
Even though it's just a cancel, it's still nice. Gets him ahead the whole hatchery timing. But. Yeah. The problem is when it comes to income, like it's so quick to be like, oh, he's got 40 more drones. He's gonna win the game with an extra base. But it's also one of those things where that's gonna take like a good 4 minutes before it really kicks in and becomes notable. Like you don't have the money or the production right off the bat. It takes time to get it.
So the good news is Snute didn't sacrifice army to do that to get his drones. He actually still has an army lead. And while Elazer had this big spike in economy, it's actually going back down in favor of Snute. So that looked terrible. And you think Elazer would have gotten something of benefit from that, but that benefit went away with the hatchery going down. Like, he doesn't have an upgrade on the way, he doesn't have lair. Okay, now he has an upgrade on the way. And he didn't have speed initially either, so he's not going to get the same counterattack opportunity for another minute or two.
Well, push it down the middle of the map. Roach is a little bit slow, so it's going to be hard to dodge this Corsair Biles. One of the Ravagers really just gets out front, and truth be told, losing one Ravager like that's actually a pretty big deal. You need about 4 to be that sweet spot to snipe Overlords, and of course 5 or more is good to fight other Roaches, but it's just getting let out here for free.
Snute did this, not exact same attack, but 2 different, basically, Ling, Roach, Ravager all lanes without a lair. The last time they played, I believe both of them worked. So, yet again, going for it. He's not getting an upgrade. He's not getting a lair. Not getting any more drones. This is just army versus army. And Elazer does have a good defender setup, an even army supply. But it's going to be about those Corsair Biles.
That and he's fighting half at a time. If Snute actually kites Corsair Biles behind him while he pushes into the natural, Elazer can never push up that ramp to save his own natural. This actually then segments the army, of course, a little bit awkward. One Ravager not contributing, but he does pounce on this. And while Elazer still has a really high Roach count, they're not all over here. They're getting picked off 1 or 2 at a time.
It's still pretty close.
If Elazer had a way,
lead.
If Elazer had a way to fight with his whole army at once, this would be pretty good for him. But that's not the case, and Snute keeps catching him. A couple Lings here and there, holding that Roach in place. Of course, the Biles behind him. Queen's being brought back into this. It's an awkward army for Snute because if he loses it, it's a lot of his army, but denies the weapon upgrades as well. This is just going too well. How can this fail?
Yeah, this I think is snowballed. He went from 10 armor supply lead to 20, maybe up to 30 now. Elazer kind of gives up on the +1, I suppose, and goes for Burrow. Snute, recognizing that maybe this won't end the game straight up, is trying to go for his own lair and evolution chamber now. It's still reinforcing. He's still getting a lot of units on the production tab. I think he's got it.
Yeah. I'm definitely on that same camp here. It's going to take time to get units across the map, but Elazer, it's funny that behind this, no drones have only died until just now, so Snute hadn't really hit the economy. He was just winning an army fight and slowly snowballing. But of course, once you actually start killing drones, once they start getting pulled into the action, that's when this game really goes south.
Yeah, definitely. That supply too low for Elazer now. I think he's really surprised that he lost this game, considering how much damage he did early on.
Yeah, I think surprised and maybe a little bit angry, but he does GG, so map 1 will go to Snute.
It will.
Of course, I do want to remind you guys, Snute it went to the ace match in that first best of 5 today. We did have to go 3-2, end up in the favor of Elazer at the end of it, but regardless of whether you believe anything we've said about the player's skill and how good versus bad they are, the fact that Snute takes that first game, okay, for stuff that's impressive, but this still could go to game 5 again. I actually truly believe that it just might.
I'm feeling it for Snute, though.
Dude, I'm ready for Snute just because I got some bro love for Snute, man. We made some packs at BlizzCon and shit. Snute, my man. I believe.
Yeah. Dude, you're going to love group chat when you can check it. It's kittens. It's a kitten eating stream. They're just kittens eating food on stream. It's just so cute.
I was gonna say, this is what happens, guys. I'm doing a million things for production, and Zombrub's just fucking watching cats. It's another day at BaseTradeTV.
I'm ensuring that we have stuff to talk about on downtime, and I'm making sure that important things are actually checked on Skype.
I could hear the enthusiasm of cuteness in your voice. You don't give a fuck about any of that. You're just I need to think of viable excuses. so that I can keep watching my cats.
Well, okay, it doesn't take that much of my attention away. They're just eating.
Okay, Dust Tower's coming up, guys. Let's see in a second. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 coming up here in the top right side of the finals match. We've got the Blue Zerg, Team Liquid Snute.
And in the bottom left, as the Red Zerg, he is Elazer.
So something really awesome and buggy has happened with my keyboard. So you know how you can get that effect to make the light ripple across the keyboard and it looks really nice?
Yeah.
It has frozen the lights in place, actually. So you can it's like someone stopped time on the ripple. It actually looks really cool.
Smack it.
No, that didn't fix it, and now my hand is a little bit sore.
It didn't really sound like you smacked it. It sounded like you smacked the table.
Well, I mean, I hit it and it's on the table, so that makes sense. Like,
but like, wouldn't I'm not gonna do it to my keyboard because like, what if I press a bunch of buttons, right? But
oh, when it hit like the keys, it did.
Yeah.
I just hit the part of the keyboard that's not connected to, like the arrow. If I hit the arrow keys, right, the camera's gonna go like this.
I just thought it would have sounded differently. That's all.
Okay, well.
I'm not calling you a liar or nothing.
TIL, Zombie thinks I'm a liar. Got it.
Yeah. All the time, every day.
Sounds about what? What would I even lie to you every day about? Like, hey, Zombie Grab,
you know what?
We're gonna cast today, and then we don't cast. Like, psych.
I don't think you're a liar, okay? But there are a lot of times where I'm very apprehensive to believe you. Okay,
you know what?
are two different things.
I get this a lot though. This is like when I talk to somebody about like a celebrity dying, and I'll read it on Reddit first. I'm like, oh my god, did you hear like so and so's dead? They're like, fuck you. Like, why would I lie about that? Like, and then,
I don't know about that.
But then you're like, okay, I get it. The first time you tell something like that, it's a little bit weird. It's out of the blue. It's suspicious. Fine. But after like 12 or 14 times of like just saying the same thing and reporting it, and like they still don't believe you on time 15, you're like, I have literally never lied to you. There's precedent here for you to actually believe me.
Oh, you have definitely lied to me. Not about that.
What have I lied to you about?
Man, I'm not. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, I hate when people put me on the spot and force me to like use some evidence and shit.
No.
It's baloney.
Because if you give me 10 minutes, I will definitely think up all the times that you've, like, you know, lied to me or said, like, hey, take this call. It's really important. Hey, take this call. hey, knock. Like, those are the times that I'm thinking of, which is why I said not necessarily lying, but I am, like,
then I can
I'm not
understand.
going to believe you right off the bat.
Then I can fully understand your point of view on that, because
Thank you.
My brother has actually blocked my number now on my cell. I can still call him from the house phone, but I will constantly call him, tell him a bad joke, and then hang up the phone right away before he can reply. And he's so mad about it that he just blocked my number.
Exactly. This is why.
2 years into it, guys. That's how long brother love lasts. 2 years before they're done with your shit. Okay, well, this one, of course, you guys are like, you're talking about the game, just cast it. There's not a lot really happening, though. The openers weren't... Like, again, I'm keeping my eye out very specifically for the early pull and early gas, expecting Snute more than Elazer to get aggressive with it. But on Dust Towers, both of them choosing to play it a little bit slower. Now, of course, we are starting to see some lings get made, but Snute doesn't... let's see if he actually cuts drones here. Elazer didn't. Elazer's just... He's, like, provoking and poking, but this isn't a dedication. It looks like neither is it from Snute. So he's read the situation pretty well, and he's continuing to drone behind this.
Snute's bringing forward his drones feel a little unnecessary, so he does have banelings on the way. But Elazer goes for the Roach Warren, where Snute's holding off for a little while longer on that. If he does get it at all. Dun dun dun. It's a lot of droning. Elazer also gets Ego Chamber, though, so I don't think he's going to be looking for an attack. This will go up to Macro.
Oh, nice to get out of Elazer.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to a point that happened at the start of the day when we had discussed Elazer's first scout that won him that game. And what we didn't really give proper credit to is the fact that he was smart enough to read the situation that well to go for that exact move. Like, you can see a Roach Warren, and sure, that tells you there's going to be roaches, but it's a truly great player that says, okay, it's Snute. I've played him against 15 times, and I know that because this Roach Warren's at this timing, I know exactly the timing he's going to hit me with Ravagers. Like, that's what these two constantly clashing off against each other brings to the table, and that's why this ZvZ looks different than most other ZvZs when it comes to even just things like standard passive play like this.
So the spine crawler is coming down. Really, I really feel hints at Spire, like 99% of the time, because he's going for roaches, sure, but he's also, you know, being oddly defensive about it. Like, bro, stop being so defensive. So, especially without the upgrade, no evolution chamber was made for Snute. I think it is going to be a Spire, and he's just going to preempt Elazer's attack. And I'm sure if he sees the actual attack coming, he'll probably put down more, or get more roaches.
I'm not reading that.
Mr. Boris Makarov donates $5. Rifkin has lied, especially about being a vampire.
So, there's a bunch of spine crawlers coming down, which would normally be fantastic if this was purely roaches, but there's going to be a considerable amount of lings coming out of Elazer. Now, this isn't like the horror style of doing it where you get a bunch of banelings and bust through, but the lings will still be pretty good at tying up the spines and keeping them busy. But it's also worth noting, Snoot's not just gone for like 5 spines as per usual. He's gone really heavy into spines. Like, this is 7 spine crawlers deep.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's necessary. Elazer has a pretty powerful attack.
Ooh.
This is really funny.
I didn't realize he had taken a hidden base like this. That's actually... The fact that he got scouted, too, is definitely disappointing for Snoot. But you know what? This is kind of cool. It's almost better that it gets scouted, because I think he was hoping it would draw more attention away from the main where the spines are. However, the attack is commencing, and there's a lot here for Elazer, and Snoot just doesn't have any buffer. It is just spines.
What?
11 mutas
Snoot.
coming out. 11 mutas are on the way. Lings are actually going to tie up the Ravagers, and the Lings are being taken care of. These spine crawlers actually aren't doing too badly. The mutas, though, are going to bring that question where you know they'll clean up this army, but how long is it going to take? Oh,
that was
Jesus.
Like so many mutas. He does, of course, that cancels them, so he just rebuilds them immediately with the minerals and money he got back. But the infestation was questioning so much.
Ravagers are bullshit!
The mutas are still coming out, though, just that I think that too much damage has been done.
Right, but he doesn't have
7 spine
enough.
crawlers was not enough.
Well,
that is insane.
The thing is, the 7 spine crawlers are really meant to not just be the spine crawlers, though. They need lings to tank for them, they need roaches to soak the hits for them. Like, it was 7 spine crawlers alone. That's, I think, what the problem really was here. But even though he got all that money back, Snute still just couldn't... He didn't have the larva to build more mutas. The Ravager Corrosive Bowels are ridiculous.
65! Wow, he had 66 drones to lose? Jesus.
Yeah, that's 1 drone remaining.
If he keeps making drones, making a new high score on the workers killed.
Oh, please get 69.
He's gonna run out of money to make more drones.
Plus the combo's gonna fall off. I mean, I'm rooting for Snute, guys, but yeah, he's on 8 drones. That shit ain't happening. I don't care how good you think mutas are. Oh, I mean, so the reason I think Snute doesn't tap out, though, right? 17 mutas is a considerable amount that will deal with pretty much everything. The problem is they can't be in multiple locations at the same time.
No.
Oh gosh. But as stated, they can't be in multiple locations at the same time. So as long as the Elazer just keeps running around everything, he's got to know Snoot's not going to have the money to build anything else back at home defensively. No lings, no roaches, no spines, nothing.
Yeah, skips the 4th base because he knows that'd probably be a freebie. One to get on top of units that are not being covered by spore crawlers, hopefully, but the spore crawlers do finish. And now, I mean...
You can pick off that new one that's building.
There's just... If he had even 20 drones, I'd be totally on board this comeback train.
Yeah.
But 10?
And it's not even that he was left with 10, he's just built up to 10 from 2. Now, the Hydra list end's going to get picked off pretty quickly. 13 Hydras do get squeezed out, but as we all know, Hydras can be at 1 or 2 at a time. Not always the best. These mutas are also kind of low. They're not going to have a lot of time to regen.
I love how committed he is to the idea that mutas will snowball, though. Like, this is some true, like, I know this unit's bullshit.
Right. I mean, it sounds like a silly joke, but I'm 100% behind you on that. Double kill on the mutas, though. Here comes the Hydras, and now Snute is going to lose everything. GG.
Okay. GG.
Congratulations to Elazer. He'll tie up the series 1-1. That I didn't really connect that point until you said it, but I could not be more behind you on that statement of just sometimes mutas can be straight up bullshit. Like, they really can be.
That's why people go for them.
What do we have for map number 3?
Prion.
Okay, I'm going to look that up. Gold base hype.
Totally.
Of course, I do want to remind everybody one more time, just while we're getting this up, that this is our cast for the day, and that's fun and awesome, but do remind everybody that tonight, So in 3 hours from now, there's going to be a Chairs for Gaming Cup hosted by Fear Dragon here on BaseTradeTV. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Some of the sign-ups are pretty nice from what I saw earlier.
Yeah, we do have a lot of good names sign up for it.
I don't care about good names. I just want names, because the thing that was so depressing before was nobody was signing up. So maybe the fact that it's a Sunday helps. Either way, here's the intro to Prion Terraces. We'll see you guys soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 underway here for the TING Open Grand Finals of the Wildcard Group number 2. Spawning the top left side, it's going to be Team Liquid's red Zerg player, Liquid Snute.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, he is Elazer.
So it didn't actually occur to me until just now, as my voice starts giving it, I'm like, damn, this has been a pretty not long cast. Why is my voice hurting? Totally forgot I was screaming all last night at the Monster Camp party.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that it actually has been a decent-sized cast.
Well, it has been. I mean, this is definitely going on the longer side of things, but I just... my voice, 6 hours, 5 hours, my voice wouldn't give out to this normally.
It's been the fact that it's been every single day for me. Like yesterday, in the end of the Alima League, I was getting that, like, your body doesn't tell you that you're about to be, like, sound like an old witch, but it still does. Like, it doesn't tell you to cough or anything. You just kind of go into it as you keep on talking.
Your voice just starts cracking. You don't even intend it to.
Exactly. Like, that's what's starting to happen to me.
You start ending sentences with, "my pretties."
Totally. That's exactly what's happening.
That'd be so weird if your body caused you to do that, man. I think there's something else going on. I think that's like some magic bullshit.
Magic bullshit. Not quite as good as reading Rainbow.
No. Is that where you were going with that? What the?
That was kind of the tune I was going into.
Reading Rainbow. All right, so we got some links coming across the map for Snute. Elazer, of course, even just drones alone should be able to deal with this, but puts a spine crawler down for ultimate safety. It is a gold base, so you've got a couple of extra minerals to burn on this.
These bitches keep on changing colors.
I know. It's, at least it's red and blue, though, so people aren't going to freak out about, like, oh my god, it's purple versus pink. BaseTradeTV hits colorblind people. We've been getting a lot of that lately. Like a stupid amount of that lately.
Nothing will surpass that one tweet from that chick.
Oh my god. The psycho? Oh my gosh. We've had some people, like, legit go insane. Like, literally insane about colorblind mode, guys. Like... it should be, like, I think, assumed that we don't hate colorblind people, but for some reason it's not.
Oh dear god.
Okay, so we're gonna have Elazer come across the map with some of his own links, and there's really not a lot to be done yet. But again, with Prion Terraces, there's a couple of very distinct questions that happen because of this map, and that is questions about the third relating to a gold, and of course questions about flooding lings versus going roaches. As time goes on, we're going to eventually hit this point where, if Snute or Elazer did want to flood lings, 5 minutes in, you're not going to do it. There's just going to be too many roaches to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I am surprised we haven't had that, like, super banling circling war yet, though, in 2 best of 5s between them.
Mm-hmm. That is a good point, yeah. Even with, like, they went for, like, 2 early pools, too. On this map, I recall. And it still didn't really happen. They kind of bounce off each other. But it does seem like Snute's 2 options in ZvZ have been to either go for the Mutas, try and get them out, or to go for, like, a Roach Ravager all in. Like, I haven't seen him being, like, so defensive going up to a lair and then a Hydralisk den. Like, now that's been Elazer's deal. So, I kind of expect the same thing here, where Elazer's going to try and get that +1 again, and Snute's going to be like, nope. We did actually see, speaking of the last best of 5, a couple of early pools from both of them, but not so far in this one.
Right, but early pools, they kind of just petered out into more droning, a lot less about huge, ridiculous all-in dedication. By the way, I want to give a shout-out to someone named @thatSarah on Twitter. She tweets to BaseTradeTV and says that she just got her first sub ever. Totally worth the $5. Nice.
Aw, thank you.
Big love. Big love. Well, it's like a small heart on the favorite button on the tweet, but, same difference. I still miss the stars. I think Twitter was so much better when it was stars and favorites, not likes and hearts.
Yeah. I agree. What is this, Lucky Charms?
I feel like it's too committal. That's my problem with it. I've got commitment issues with it.
You don't love it, you just favorite it?
Yeah.
I favor you.
Look, I like it, but the heart indicates love, you know, and I'm not committing that much to how funny that tweet was. This fight, by the way, is not going so
committing to this fight.
Yeah, but it's not going so hot for him as he does get pushed back. Now, if he's got his whole army to fight with, okay, maybe not so bad, because Elazer's got to split between the natural and the third. But honestly, Defender's advantage, I think, is going to be a little too much to overcome. And Snute has cut a fairly large amount of workers to make this happen. 22 more links coming up.
So if this was a case where Elazer was going for that evolution chamber, then yeah, this would be great. This would be like 100 less gas and minerals he could work with. But it's actually Snute going for the macro, so great. He decides to change it up. Elazer, though, because he isn't going for it, could start to overwhelm here. Missing a couple of Ravagers, starts to morph them in, and could counterattack with that. But
as long as Snute, like, he can throw away all these lings, terribly so. But as long as he keeps the Roaches and Ravagers alive to fall back on, I think he'll be okay. Because neither player has speed. There's no catching them as they run across the map. And in fact, ooh, gonna catch him a little off guard. Whoa! So, walks into his own one for a moment. He goes, "No, I shouldn't do that." Walks away after. Well done, Snute. Well handled.
Snute just fall down in that army supply, though. Elazer is going for what I thought Snute was going to go for: the all-in versus someone who's getting an upgrade. Yeah,
but once he identifies this, Snoot's going to be able to react. That +1 weapons isn't going to be done for this fight, though, which is really unfortunate for Snute.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough hold. It's going to depend a lot on buying time with Ravager shots, actually getting the Corrosive Bile shots. Obviously, Snute knows it's coming. The Overlord is living, barely. And he has to do or die right now. Buy that time. Get those lings.
Do or die inside a box? Is he alive, dead, or a vampire?
I don't...
No, you don't want to bring this conversation back?
What?
Okay.
What? No?
Lings actually do get surrounds on Elazer's Ravagers, so those get taken out of the fight pretty quickly, but that's still a lot of Roaches here for Elazer. And Snute, Defender's advantage is one thing, but the Ravagers are exposed, and he needs to kite with these. They've got speed, they've got range over the Roaches, but his own Roaches are starting to lose the fight. That Concave comes in. We got some Lings also darting to the front lines from Elazer. 13 Roaches over 7, and Snute just barely can't even rally these in.
Yeah, he got to run his Ravagers away. He was barely able to bring that forward. They were on even supply for a second. And now he's starting to really dip down. The +1 finishes, but it's like, yeah, thanks for coming like so late to the party.
Yeah. I'm glad I got this +1. I'm really strong. Hey, where'd all my friends go?
Yeah, and it looks like Snute just maybe snowballed here. Elazer's not giving up on the attack, and no, the curse is supposed to exist.
Well, I mean, it's best of 5, so yeah, it's not over yet. But Snute pulls drones for not 1 but 2 bases to say, fuck you. Actually, it's funny because we're making jokes, but if he actually got the surround, he would have killed all those Roaches. Significantly low and...
There's such a huge spike in income when he pulled all of those. But he pushes Elazer away.
Oh my god, you ain't kidding. I just looked at the ground.
And he does have that +1. Unfortunately, it's 30 army supply down. It's no Ravagers either, as all of them died. This is game? I think so.
I imagine so. Snoot's got a decent Roach line, but it's still less than that of Elazer's. And even with that +1, the Lings flooding in for Elazer, just being more numerous, kind of soak up each of those hits, kind of negates the +1. The Roach kind of starting to even up a little bit, but that's where the advantage of Ravagers really coming in. Part of the reason he's losing Roaches is because he's making them into Ravagers.
Well, those are drones, but he didn't really have that many drones to give. His only advantage really was in the +1. They were in even workers, even bases. They're, so.
GG.
GG!
Alright, so 2-1 now in the favor of Elazer. But before we get into that 4th and possibly final game, we are going to go to a commercial break. So we'll keep this one brief, and we'll try and get back as soon as we can for what is close to the end of the group. We'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, as we promised, keep those about as brief as we can. We won't even run over the game time as we get into the map here. So it's Leerlac Crest, and if you're just joining us, it's the finals of the group, and this might be the last match, depending how it goes. Spawning in the top left side of the map, he is on his last life, fighting for everything to survive this group. It's Team Liquid's Snute.
In the top right, as the blue Zerg. Hey there. It's Elazer.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hey there. Hello.
Jeez. Hello.
Okay, so the early pull and early gas. We've been waiting on this. We've been talking about it a lot. We're waiting to see if anyone would go for like a 14-14 or not. And for Elazer to reach out for this is, I'm gonna say bold because I know that Snute knows how to defend this. But the question is, will he? Because you just might not expect it on a 4-player spawn map, and his build definitely says he's not expecting it on a 4-player spawn map.
Yeah, and Snute's usually that guy going for the pool first, too, to help him with this. So, this could be awkward, especially because Elazer gets the first scout. That's really nice for him. Snute's going to have some time before he recognizes the lack of a hatchery. And, well, Elazer, he's going for the speed, definitely, with his gas. We'll see if he continues with the gas to get the Baneling nest. He is. He is.
He is. I mean, we can see it banked up, but he's got to actually place it down, of course.
Yeah, there's speed. So, he'll... Sending the lings correctly anyways. Yeah, he saw the Overlord. The Overlord not quite spotting those lings. So close. And there's the Baneling nest.
Okay, well, with the Banelings maybe being the biggest problem for Snute, initially he doesn't only have lings to worry about. SimCity in the main's not too bad. We've seen a lot of these situations where really good Zerg players are actually building in such a way that the snowball effect doesn't actually happen. He might lose the natural, for example, but he won't lose the game. As this is his last life, he has to play about as safe as he possibly can in this scenario. So, Baneling Nest on the backside, Spine Crawler, which will eventually be moved to the right side, Queen in that little choke, and all of a sudden, it's really hard to get into the mineral lines. But, again, you have to sacrifice the hatchery to make this happen.
Quite unfortunate. Don't lose those lings either. Yeah, I think it's going to go down no matter what now, with speed finishing up. But as long as he can defend the main, he can try and bring it back. He'll have the same tech eventually, although his speed's not even started.
This is a real bummer thing to read, but Gwynro in chat writes, if Snute loses today, Mana's definitely going to advance from his group, because every tournament needs at least one Team Liquid guy, or 2 Team Liquid guys to kill the other Team Liquid guys.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, by the way, that Elazer also sent Snutes out of the qualifier to the losers match.
Well,
yeah,
he does. Snute does all the proper tactics to hold on to this. Behind this, Elazer's supposed to get ahead. That's the point of his hatchery right now. Having not killed any drones, he's actually not in a great spot. It's a small lead. It's almost as if somebody got hatch first versus pool first. Not okay, actually, it's not. It's more significant than that. But for Elazer's sake, he's not coming out of this crazy well.
Not crazy far.
It's like the best way to phrase it, I think, is like he drags Snute down to his level.
Yeah, kind of. What sucks for Snute is the lack of speed, however. If this is a different map, although thank God it's, the new layer lack, not the old one, you could try and wall off, like on Arena, and just, go up to roaches, skip your own speed. But as it is layer lack, you're going to need that speed, and he held off for a while because he had to use the gas for the Banelings initially. That's going to give Elazer a lot of control over the game.
Hey, Blue Zealand just subbed for 12 months, by the way. Congratulations on your 1-year trip around the sun with BaseTradeTV. Just a quick note about the Partoofs, by the way. We've been so busy this month. I know that I haven't been able to get mail anything. Have you?
Well, I wait till the end of the month.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to. We did get caught up, and there's some people who sent messages about not receiving them yet, but truthfully, guys, a lot of them were just heavily delayed due to our move to Toronto and whatnot. Ooh, trades out the Banelings for Banelings. Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Snute's natural, finally finishing up here. He is.
So he lose 2 overlords to this? Oh.
Elazer has to be careful. No, he is. He's gonna lose it.
Losing 1 overlord is kind of like, okay, oops, I made a mistake with the rally. Losing 2 really sucks for Snute. That's going to supply block him, and that's minerals he doesn't want to be spending on an overlord right now.
Elazer managed to take the lead a little bit in that drone counts. There's the speed finally kicking in, and he could try and counterattack now, but instead he goes for more drones. This very small ling attack will at least see the roaches, which Snute needs to catch up on. Yeah, that's roach one.
Yeah, scouting information is going to be pretty important. Unfortunately, though, this map doesn't have long enough rush distances where I think he can really bridge that gap. Like, it is going to be surprise roaches, and then what?
Literally.
Yeah. It's like when we saw the Ultralisk pop out of the egg that one time. It's like, surprise! Yeah.
I mean, killing 2 queens might have been worth losing the lings if his roach one was already done, but he just made a round of drones, too. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Does he even have larvae to make roaches? 3 larvae.
Well, I guess one of the things to really, ooh, if there's a bunch of spines behind this, maybe he did have the one spine from earlier, which is nice, and there's some roaches coming out now. But these first roaches are already on deck. Now there is no transfuses. That's what makes this the worst case scenario for Snute. If there's some transfuses, you keep that spine alive. But Elazer, he's almost getting bluffed. He's almost getting bluffed here.
Yeah, he doesn't rush in. He wants to wait for his reinforcements, and that might just give enough time for Snute to get these units out to actually help the spine crawler, as opposed to just let it get, one shot, two shot.
Yeah.
This is a much different scenario now.
A small misread on the situation from Elazer, an understandable one no less, because he doesn't have high ground vision, but now he's going to push in. He does have still a considerable amount of units of his own. This Baneling's going to cause a problem. They might go to the mineral lines. Second spine crawler back here, going to be trying to keep a check on everything else, but 9 roaches to 13. Snoot's got a couple of queens. They have banked up energy for transfuses, so we see 1 or 2 transfuses go off, but they're gone. Roaches are snowballing, and Zombie, even with the spine crawler here, I don't know if Snoot can hold this.
If the spine crawler was always with the engagement, I think he could, because it's getting a lot of free damage. It's not being targeted down like the other one, but that's why Elazer was trying to run around it. He will retreat. Snoot has held.
I'm surprised he didn't just go to the main, to the ramp. I guess, again, maybe thinking there's more roaches on the way than there actually were. Because if he had just said, screw the spine crawler, I'm going to the main, yeah, all the roaches might have died, but he would have killed all the drones in the process.
Yeah, that was very, very close. Now the game is really evened up. Pretty even drones, pretty even army supply. Snute, he doesn't have any overlords now. So, of course, the supply block, having to make another overlord from the 2 that died, that's a big deal. But so is just not having any scouting at all. He has no idea if Elazer's continuing the push and just banking up somewhere. And it's quite unfortunate for him. So he's going to push out, which is dangerous. He's going to get a third base too, but Lings are there for Elazer to cancel it.
Yeah, getting this cancel is going to be pretty nice. For Snute, this also alerts that there are Lings over here, so rushes back home with his own Lings to defend.
Yeah. Can't attack without his own Lings, though. Doesn't want to, rather. I mean, maybe he could. Plants down that third base again and has to be wary of this. Again, he has very limited sight on the map. Just not sending out any more overlords. Trying to get some revenge, in fact, with his Ravagers.
I mean, his were picked off early. I don't blame him. It wasn't by anything significant. It was just 2 queens.
Yeah. Well, this game's going to go to a third base. Very, very close. Lings just chasing each other around the map. God.
This is going to be so stressful. I wonder if Snute plays in the back of his mind knowing that this is do or die, or if he just decides to say, screw it, focus solely and entirely on the game. Because this is a pretty high-stress situation, even without that added stress into it. Now, it is going to be a Roach lead and a Ravager lead for Elazer, albeit barely. Sorry, Ravager lead, not anymore. Didn't know Snute was hatching one. But the Lings get us around on those Roaches, and that's their time to shine. A couple of bandits going to come in and try and clean up the Lings.
You could focus on that one last Baneling. The Lings were helping out a lot.
He tried to, and that dived some of the Roaches into this Elazer's Roaches. However, Snute finally deals with Baneling. He can maybe take this fight well, maybe, but with Defender's advantage and units spawning right here on the front lines, pull back with those couple of Ravagers, wait a few seconds. Hatchery's going to finish, unfortunately. It means he can no longer cancel it and has to try his best to defend it.
I think he can save it.
It's questionable. Lots of Lings are here now. They can get us around.
Yeah, he should be able to focus fire at the very least. So that's going to be Elazer with the just straight up hatchery being far, far ahead of Snoots. Might have given up too much of an army for it, though. The Broodling's actually really helping out here. The Lings have mostly gone away, so no wraparound on these last few Roaches and Ravagers. But Snoot, he's got a counterattack. He should. He does have the army supply lead. Even still, even with the laser reinforcing, with throwing down his own third, or again, rather. It's very close. He sees the Lings go across. They catch a Ravager. They're going to be able to cancel his third, too. Oh, no. He took the other third. Haha! Psych! But getting some really important reinforcements. That's still a nice Ling run by from Elazer.
Yeah, it's still... I don't know which to really call the direction of this game in. I mean, Snute obviously playing defense, and winning a defensive fight looks good, but it doesn't mean he's got what it takes to counterattack across the map and win the game either. So, army supply is kind of even-ish. Drone counts kind of even-ish. Third base advantage to Elazer, I guess, for the small time being, but I don't think he'll be mining off of this long enough to really be that dedicated of an advantage. Yeah,
Stu's actually had the income advantage this entire time. We'll see if that changes as he transfers more workers over there. They've just been entirely about whether or not these fights can go well for either party. So much control going into dodging the corrosive bios, trying to get the Lings to wrap around key units. You know, it's very... Like, they're both committing to more Lings as opposed to more Roaches and Ravagers. And sometimes that might be because they're low on gas, like Elazer is right now. And I think other times it's just because, you know, the Lings getting those reinforcements or getting this around can really add a lot to your army. Oh, Snute doesn't see this? He's got it. He's a creature right there. Okay, he moves over. I don't know about going through the choke. He makes it through. Backs off. Uh-oh. Ling's going to the natural. And maybe even the main. A couple reinforcements could go ahead and try and help out here, but that's going to be a queen down. There's his Lings.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on a lot of that army tap for while this goes on. He does hold the choke over here with the Roaches and Ravagers looking to come in. Cleans up the Lings, which is great, but he's got to make sure he takes a decent fight over here. Now, Corrosive Biles are not really landing for anybody. Snoot's backing away. So is Elazer. Some people push forward, some people push back. But
his Lings would be able to help so much.
Yeah, F2 it, man. F2 it. F2, get to it.
Yeah, and he's winning the army fight once again. He's up 20 supply. We do not have a Elazer with those Lings that are threatening the counterattack, that are catching the reinforcements. They're staying with the army. Oh, I didn't even realize that Snoot stuck in a +1 too, so that's about to finish up. Oh, I think Snoot's actually looking good in this game. He took back the income control, which he didn't really lose for that long, despite being down an entire hatchery at one point. The curse.
Yeah, well, not yet, but it is looking good for Snute. Now, again, well, +1 is great. Corrosive Bile still deals 60 damage and doesn't need upgrades or mitigation. Won't affect it. So, if Elazer finds himself fighting Roach Ravager versus Roach Ravager, if he has enough Ravagers, maybe the fight goes well for him. But right now, he's only got the one, and that's what's most concerning to me here. Not even the upgrade. The Ling Run by is good once again.
Yeah, bringing back his own Lings, though. The thing is that Snoot's now, like, with this huge army supply advantage, can let his Lings go back and defend and not be so, wear in the fronts. I'm not sure, like, I think there's a reason he's not trying to go to the third. He doesn't want to give up this avenue of attack and let Elazer maybe make this more complicated than it should be or has to be with, like, kind of a base trade.
If he actually opens up the rocks, that's the second way for Elazer to escape out of the base, run around, and continue these Ling Run bys, which have been so annoying for Snute. Whereas if he just postures outside one location, he knows everything that comes and goes. I think realizing now that he still can't catch everything that comes and goes anyways is what's going to trigger him to push through the south, maybe.
Yeah, just posturing. Continuing his lead of 20 supply pretty steadily here. Doesn't want to go up that ramp, especially without his Lings.
I mean, the supply gap really is mostly the Lings, though. Not all of it, but there's a pretty decent roach count from Elazer. The Ravagers aren't too bad on either side, but it's a lot in those Lings for Snute.
I think he's very aware that he could throw this away, trying to go up a ramp through a choke. Gets a couple more drones, puts him back up to pretty even here. Does finally go for the rocks.
I'm a little surprised we don't see Snute trying to do his own Ling Run bys, by the way. Like, he sees the whole army's over here, so why not send the Lings to the natural?
Good question. Even half the Lings could do a lot of damage. Well, maybe that's why he opened up these rocks. He has 16 more Lings coming out now. Now they're going to go with the army. I guess it did move Elazer out of position so he can finally get up that ramp without having it entirely against him.
Yeah, bit of a concave. Of course, with these Lings coming, they're going to soak some of these hits. Corrosive Biles going down on both sides. Snute dodging once again. But every time you dodge, you give up a little bit of damage. However, 12 Ravagers and 28 Roaches over 14 and 5. I think, Zombie God, we are, at this rate, going to go to that ace match.
Oh my god. And Snoots was so close to losing the game twice, I believe, in this game. This is very close.
That's what makes Snute such a good player. That's really what makes Snute such a good player. But okay, we are, as much as I would love to squeeze in a break here, we got to get this last game done. We got to finish this group and see how this concludes. So, what's the final map, Summergo?
Detox.
Detox. Oh my. Okay, no map intro for this one, but again, a map that both of these two have played on, both of these two know. I'm not sure how well they know, but they definitely know. It's too bad this didn't actually go on like an hour longer. We should have like transitioned off to Fear Dragon like a lot more smoothly.
Right? That's what I said 2 hours ago.
Okay. Game number 5. Grand Finals Ace Match time here for the TING Wildcard Group number 2. And again, reminding everybody to check out TING, because if you don't,
Esports cries, literally.
A llama will die.
A llama?
Yes. So please save the llamas. Save the llamas, guys.
From Alalamba.
Spawning here in the bottom left side of spawning on the bottom left side of Detox. He's fighting back. Ladies and gentlemen, Liquid's Snute.
In the top right, as the blue Zerg, he is a Elazer.
And nobody's producing any drones. going for hatcheries. So,
Yes.
not going to have anything too... how to say, risky. Sorry, I was going to say. A hatchery first is not so bad. But if you like hatchery, gas, pool, you might be in a little bit of worry. So Elazer is going to be playing slightly more bold than Snute. But it is such by a little amount, it really doesn't matter because of how similar the builds are.
Well, if Snute doesn't go for gas, then it's actually going to differ quite a bit. Where are you going, Drone? Going for a third? Huh? Eh? Well, that's no, yeah, it goes for a gas. He's going for a third. He's making up those minerals. So much for Elazer being the bold one. I was gonna comment that they both realized how long the rush distance was the last time they played on this, so I definitely didn't expect to pull first, especially, well, I don't know, it's such a windy path. I'm not sure how the overlords really play into this. I think I've heard complaints before about other Zergs with overlords on this map, but regardless, the distance is definitely long, and that's why I didn't expect it to happen. But to go for a quick third, I do recall Snute winning a ZvZ before with this after he went into mutas, but not against Elazer, against someone else on this map, in these positions too. Damn.
I love Secretaries to Kill, by the way. So I banned him the other day, but I forgive him for that wolf comment now because he tweets out and says basically even though it's only been up for 3 days, his probably most used tweet on Twitch or Twitter, or his most used emoticon on Twitch is Ace Lude.
See, he should really, apologize because you had that really nice call on Arena with the Overlord. Oh, wait a minute.
You are a B word. And that B word is bad co-caster.
Wow, I love the Carl's going on in chat right now. Carl.
Dumb.
That kills people.
At the end of the day, okay, maybe 7,000 people don't hear me make a good call, but you do.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because it keeps you from jumping ship.
There's that episode where that Chandler starts writing down his jokes because he swears that Ross stole a joke. You're gonna start writing down all of your correct calls, so you can just start blasting trolls' faces with stats.
Well, I don't care about stats. I guess maybe I should, and that would deal with the trolls. But it's everyone who thinks I'm a bad commentator, that's fine. I don't it doesn't bother me. If my job was in jeopardy because of it, then maybe I would do something like that. But I own BaseTradeTV, so get wrecked, nerds. What the fuck?
Next time they say when was the last time you made a right call, you don't have to go, well, give me 10 minutes.
Only you do that, dude. I feel like you would be the worst person to fight within a relationship too, because you guys would be in a fight and you would start citing things from 7 years ago, but you're give me a minute before I get into this.
I'd be yeah, let's take 10 minutes and let's write down all of our feelings. That sounds like a great partner.
Let's just write down all the grudges I've been saving up for years. Yeah, that sounds like a really healthy relationship.
So, I have a serious complex with this in particular because that's what my brothers would always do when they were I would be you guys were really mean to me when I was younger, and they'd be name once, and I'd be God, okay,
every
how about
waking
hold on,
moment.
Last time I have to wait and fumble along, and they'd start making fun of me for it. So you
would just use that as the example. You guys are being mean right now.
Oh, then they do that thing where they interrupt you every time you start talking, right? So, like trolls, they aren't actually looking to be proven wrong.
Knock knock.
They're just looking to be dicks. No.
No, please.
No. Unless you're Ghost Scout cookies, no.
Knock knock.
Which I still haven't gotten. Oh.
Okay,
who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting
Moo.
cow. I almost said it too quick for you to do that, but then I thought, nah, I'll give him this one.
I think it was this map I did the bad jokes on. Maybe something about detox. Ugh.
You're detoxing yourself from all the bad jokes.
Just getting it out of my system. Yeah, while we're here. So it is roaches and it is +1, and I just, as weird as it is, I'm really happy that it's not mutas. It's just not that I hate or love mutas, but this means we're actually gonna have a game that's perhaps a little bit more skill based. Again, that sounds really, really pretentious to say it like that, but it is the fact that mutas can sometimes just be these dumbass units that timing, luck, whatever, on top of your skill, tend to outshine. Whereas if it's Roaches and Ravagers versus Roaches and Ravagers, we get to see an exemplary display of macro, micro, Corsair Biles, dancing, you name it.
Mm-hmm. So Snute, he went for that greedier opener and has benefited a little bit from it with the higher drone counts. But he was low on gas, and now he's actually pretty good on it. So he's a supply block now is his problem. So he is still down about 20 army supply. Upgrade's going to be even here. It is going to be going up a ramp, but with 2 ramps, Elazer can try and make it work. Snute is going to go for the Spire now. It might be a little mistimed, however. I think he does need everything he needs for this defense, everything he can get.
Yeah, I mean, the Spire itself is like 100 minerals, 100 gas, so that takes away a lot. Drone's getting pulled into this, perhaps underestimating or overestimating the situation. He does have a large portion of his army segmented to the north, winning that fight. Elazer's actually down in Roaches by a pretty significant amount, and Snoot's actually going to come in from behind. And let's not forget, there's no speed for this, so Elazer's forced to take this fight.
Ooh, they came from behind. Snoots with the wraparound and the reinforcements coming in a lot quicker does push this fight back, and now Elazer, who skipped Lair for that, by the way, doesn't know about the Spire.
Right, and this is where I find the game really awesome. Because Snute, he pulled drones into this, by the way, and kept them alive and rebuilt the ones he lost. So this wasn't even too bad on his economy while this goes on. In fact, did it even spike down? Barely. Barely. So what this means going forward, stop zooming in, camera, is that he's actually going to have money to support said Mutalisks. Now, he's still investing on Roaches, and I'm wondering if this will end up being just the small amount of mutas to harass and get map control with, or if he's actually going to donate, dedicate to them. He's at this weird crossing roads right now where he could choose to go either direction, but it's gonna be Roaches. Okay, so
well, Elazer is gonna have a tough time dealing with these mutas, but as long as they're in accounts of like 20, then I guess it's gonna be okay. Just I do worry about it getting higher and higher. Snute realizes he has a chance here. They both go for the 4th base of the gold, which is kind of like the default 4th base, actually, despite having that little bridge in between. And we'll have a bit faster of that +2, as well as that roach speed. But these mutas will be able to clean up the overlords at the very least, even if they can't kill off queens or anything like that. But they're not going for the overlords quite yet. They just run across the map. I guess killing a couple of Ravagers with only 4 mutas takes a while. Not bad.
It does bait out some Spore Crawlers, which in this instance is not super necessary. Elazer has not overreacted to what Snoot's doing. Like, getting a Hydralis Den does lead into the Lurkers, which you're going to want eventually. So, Snoot goes through it a little bit quicker, gets a little bit sooner. Does put down some Spore Crawlers, but doesn't put down 10 Spore Crawlers. He just puts down barely enough, so he's actually not going to get off guard by this. The funny irony, though, is if Snute did go dedicate to these mutas, and there's 20, in fact, there's not enough Spore Crawlers, and then Elazer straight up dies.
Yeah. That's the trick, and he's found a good balance. Snoot's really just using these mutas for harassments, like very small harassment, too. Like, whenever he sees not enough anti-air. He's going to get a queen here. She could have gone back to the Spore Crawler. Hydra pops out, and he's losing the mutas now.
But he still picked off several Ravagers through this attack. I mean, that's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm. They both have Lurkers on the way, and despite Snute taking that really awesome fight, I mean, he still has a lead, He has a lead in drones and a little bit in the army supply. It's getting to Lurkers, and Lurker versus Lurkers can, they're kind of like siege tanks. They'll make up 10 army supply.
But there is something that's happened here. Not as I guess obvious and a lot more subtle. Snute maxed out, which means he's starting to bank. Elazer's still building units. So for Snute, this is kind of funny. He's actually tearing down all the walls, whereas Elazer's trying to build them up. Snute actually has a bad habit of running into his own Corsair Biles. But secondly, he has money behind this. Like, he's gonna have probably 3K waiting by the time he needs to even make any more units.
Yeah. And you just gotta make sure that he has the larva to support a remax, and he can do, well, not whatever he wants with it, but a lot with it. There's the Lurkers on the way for him, 8, while poor Elazer is a little down on the gas, only has 2. Poor guys, not even that many friends. But 9 Lurkers for Snute. He's going to have the positional advantage of this high ground to put a couple of Lurkers on. He could go through the rocks, which he is, and now he's going to be able to stop mining on the gold base.
Well, let's see if the Lurkers help. I love all the pathways Snoot's opened up. He's a couple Lurkers here, just chunking away at the ground. Not exactly as devastating as having siege tanks up there, but still good. A couple of roaches managed to walk through the gas, but while this goes on, Snoot's not going to be paying attention down there, so the investment from Elazer may build up over time. There's no detection on this side of the map, though, for Snute, and he's got no way to really see those lurkers. He's taking guesses with corrosive biles and not really playing off too well. Meanwhile, this couple of roach attack, this is actually doing fantastic.
Yeah, the mutas are going to be able to clean this up, but I also wonder if the mutas are for picking off lurkers that are kind of like hidden behind, He's
going to get the Hydra upgrades. It's kind of nice. But yeah, that's actually a big part of why mutas came back into the meta, if you remember. Right? Everyone was talking about how they specifically didn't have a good answer for lurkers, so mutas were their alternative.
Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus, the chunking towards the end there.
Yeah, and you know what? Elazer, he doesn't have that many lurkers anymore. He's down to 2. Snoot's still got 7.
This is probably game. He has 100. Well, not quite.
Snute. Liquid Snute.
He's done it.
Well, not yet. Elazer's still got other bases, and he's still mining off of gold, but this is starting to snowball, and let's not forget the mutalistic part of the equation that comes in next, right? Like, okay, maybe you made them pick off the lurkers, but guess what? With the Hydralist den going down, there's not going to be a lot more. The lurker den's being remade in the main, so there was a huge, miss on these Hydras being made. Mutas are kicking ass. Oh, these mutas are super kicking ass.
Well, the Lings are getting on top of the 4th base.
He's finally building them now, but they're still they've got to come out. They got to walk off of creep to get here. The roaches, of course, aren't going to fare too well against the lurkers, but the mutas with nothing to stop them can just pick off the minerals. So Elazer might be on bases mining, but it won't matter if he loses all the drones on said bases mining.
Yeah, and Snoot's just not remaxing too quickly because of the gas, but he does still have that huge mineral bank. Probably wants to go get another 5th.
He could make all the lings in the world if you wanted. Just flood with them too if you wanted. I mean,
yeah, he did start getting over eager there.
But look at this. The Hydras they're bleeding. They come out 1 or 2 at a time. They just cannot get established in numbers to take on these mutas.
Yeah, a couple of lurkers are still alive for Snute too. So 3 more just walk on by.
What's up, GG? Ladies and gentlemen, Liquid Snute. He is there's the curse, but he's the winner of the group. Or, sorry, not the winner of the group, the winner of the series, which will get him out of the group. I'm just a little too excited to see our good friend Snute survive. So, nicely done, Snute. Very well handled. Very well played. And really glad to see Snute will be joining us in the round of 16. But this awesome TING Open, this giant league that we've been casting, is almost at its conclusion of the round of 32. We have 1 group remaining. It's going to play out on March 7th. Coincidentally, that's the last day you can enter into the TING smartphone giveaway. If you want to get involved with that, you are going to have to tweet at TINGFTW on Twitter and hashtag TINGOpen and ask them a question. Any question. They want to do an AMA with your questions on that hashtag. And more importantly, they want to give you a phone. So they'll select somebody from that list to give the phone to. But, yeah, congratulations to Naniwa, congratulations to Snute. Keep in mind that the next stage of groups is going to be mixed and matched from different regions, which is really important to note because we've had only Europe versus Europe, North America versus North America. Naniwa got a bit of a taste with the cross-region here with wildcard qualifiers leading into the wildcard group, but, these guys might be fighting Koreans. They might be fighting North Americans. We don't know. We'll find out, of course, as the final group concludes, but... to all those going to IEM Katowice, we wish them the best of luck. And for you guys tuning in today, I hope you enjoyed the show. Zomgrab, do you mind doing the round off of our sponsor shoutouts while I set up these last end of the stream stuff?
Alrighty then. So, of course, the biggest thank you, not congratulations. The biggest thank you is, of course, to Ting. Go to bttv.ting.com to learn more. Check out the savings calculator if you're interested. Could definitely tell you a lot on how you can save with Ting. Of course, it's America, USA only. So sorry, Canadians mostly. Europeans continue to gloat about their services. But if you're at all curious, definitely check it out, as they're definitely interested in doing another tournament if they can get enough interest in them. And of course, our personal channel sponsors, G2A.com. Use code BASE to get 3% off. If you really want to help us out, then you can get a new account if you have used another code before, and that would be really ideal. Yord has we actually had the invitation already. The money's good to go. We've done it, everyone. So thanks a lot for that. But it's still $20 off, woodwatches.com/base. And they're just nice watches. So even if you're not looking to save esports or whatever, they're really nice watches. And they're definitely worth the cost. Shares for Gaming, code BaseTradeTV, $20 off, free shipping to America, USA, and Canada. And we're gonna have the Chairs for Gaming weekly in like an hour and a half. So.
Yeah. So make sure to join back for that. That is, of course, that's going to be Fear Dragon casting that, guys. Not myself and Zombie Grub, but Fear Dragon's done a great job with everything he's done on the channel so far, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that tournament. I got to say, though, I didn't think we'd do it, but we've almost hit our monthly goal here for G2A. We are at 148 transactions, guys, out of the 150 goal. So with today and tomorrow remaining, if 2 people buy anything from G2A with our code, and you use, of course, make sure the new account so that you don't have your account tied to somebody else's, you're going to do us the greatest favor we could ask for. So, again, consider buying through G2A, and thank you guys so much for watching. That being said, the last readout for TING is as follows. TING is a U.S. mobile phone service, guys. They're supporting esports. $5,000 coming into StarCraft 2 for this tournament, all provided by them. The other thing we haven't really talked about, and while we're not going to discuss numbers here openly on stream, I will say this. They are paying us to cast this. We never get paid to cast anything. It's always volunteer work, and it's always like fingers crossed, hope we get some ad revenue. Ting are taking care of us in so many ways, and I really, really want to work with them more in the future. So, our goal for this tournament is to have a great time. Obviously, as priority number 1, have some good games, have fun. But priority 2 is definitely trying to make sure enough people know enough about Ting to go to their website, to check it out, and possibly sign up. Because if we get 40 people signed up and using Ting by the time this is all over, they will come back with another $5,000 tournament. This is something that we talked about specifically before even agreeing to run this first one. So I'm very excited, and I'm very looking forward to it. And we're already like way over our halfway goal. So hopefully by the time we come back on March 7th, we'll have some updated numbers for you guys on who's using what for Ting. But that is going to end the cast today. So once again, take care, enjoy, and some last words from our sponsors. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.